Hello guys and girls, welcome to another video. Now in today's video I really want to address the lockdown here in China, or the lockdowns as many people have discussed in the West and everywhere else really. And I'd like to really talk about it from the perspective of a foreigner living here in China, living on the ground and seeing everything firsthand. Now, of course, we have some Shanghai YouTubers, which, who have documented their own journeys and their own maybe perils and whatnot in Shanghai right now. I am somebody based in another city in China, but this city has also been under lockdown previously. And we're talking really about 2 months ago when we were going through this. And if I recall correctly, it began around March time, around the beginning of March. And it was revealed that there was basically an outbreak, or two different outbreaks in different quarters, different parts of the city. And apparently they were different variants. So we had one Delta variant and one Omicron. Sort of the south being the Delta, the north being the Omicron. Now, it turned out that there were localized lockdowns that happened. Also, apparently somebody had a case in this area where I live, where I reside, and we have a street market. And if you watch my other videos, I've kind of taken a video of the street market, people walking by, buying street food. It's quite a nice atmosphere. But this whole place was shut. Because apparently this one man or one individual had gone to the street market and had the virus. Now, yes, this city has had a lockdown. It has had an outbreak. And so what did I experience? Well, compared with what Shanghai people are going through right now, I would say that it was extremely moderate. It was extremely mild in terms of the severity and also the duration of the lockdown. What will happen here is they will discover the cases. They will try to track and trace the cases and the people that have been near those people that have been infected. And then they will very harshly collect those people and put them into, quarantine facilities. They will also lock down an entire community. And so the northern districts of the city have been locked down and were locked down for maybe a week or two. Luckily, this district here was not put under lockdown. We were saved from a community lockdown. And basically that is just, the community lockdown is what you've seen through the videos, is where they seal off the community and nobody is allowed to go in or out. And you might be allowed to collect groceries or whatnot from the gates, or they might just distribute the food to you. So a couple of my colleagues were actually placed under lockdown for a little time because they lived in this other part of the city. Luckily, I lived in this place. Ironically, where one of the people had come to eat street food, but it wasn't seen to be that much of a threat where they would have to lock down. So after this discovery, this outbreak had come clean and had come out, they decided to test people frequently. So the number of times now that I've had to go to a community testing station and have the swab taken has been uncountable. It was every 3 days before. Now it's every 7 days now that the lockdown has been eased. And I just remember there wasn't a considerable disruption. I was still able to go to and from the supermarket. I was able to, go to these basic places, do basic things, but nightclubs were shut down. Really any place that would invite masses of people to congregate and obviously share space. But the school, and of course this does apply to the schools as well. The schools were not closed, but they were essentially banned from having students in the classroom. So the way that these schools got around it, the training centres, whatnot, even international schools, secondary schools, primary schools, is they switched to online. So the kids were at home, but we as the teachers still had to go into the school to deliver online classes. And so our school just basically set up computers in every classroom with the webcam, with the headset, and we would deliver our lessons via the internet or via the software that they provided. And yeah, that was fairly easy. You quickly got the hang of it, and the kids were eager to learn, and obviously they were all at home, so we couldn't really engage with the students like we normally do. But this lasted for about 2 months, and then finally in around the end of April time is when they began to reopen the schools, and everything has kind of gone back to normal here now. So that was really my taste of the lockdown. Now, I know, before anybody says, it isn't Shanghai, it isn't other places which are currently under lockdown or have been under strict lockdown. And the testing is frequent. You know, we have to go every day to get, or we had to go every 3 days to get tested before. Now it's every 7 days. And this is really just to make sure that the virus is quickly identified and dealt with under the dynamic zero COVID policy. Now, the system that they're currently introducing, although I don't know how strictly it's followed now, is that they were wanting a test in order to get into malls, in order to get on the subway. And this hadn't really been a thing with the vaccines. People thought, oh, they're going to start wanting vaccine certificates, vaccine codes to show that you've been vaccinated in order to get into nightclubs or in order to get on the subway. That hasn't really happened thus far. I've seen, or I know people who haven't had the vaccines, who are still able to come and go just like a fully vaccinated person. I have been vaccinated, but it makes no difference to me if I have or haven't been. But it comes down to the testing. So if you haven't been tested, you cannot take the subway. If you haven't been tested within, 7 days, before it was 3 days, or 2 days, in fact, at one point, you were unable to take the subway. You were unable to use public transport. And that's really I think the way that things are going here when the virus has revealed itself and has become kind of widespread. You will have to show a code to prove that you are not infected. All right, guys, so that's just an update as to the situation here in my neck of the woods. This is about 4 hours away from Shanghai, or an hour's plane ride away. So it hasn't really suffered the same fate or problems as Shanghai has, and luckily the lockdown has been enforced, and we've now come out of that. But it's just an insight into really what's going on over here. It's not as black and white as people paint it to be, and clearly my thoughts on the lockdown are that it is necessary at this time, because if they don't enforce the lockdowns and they don't test frequently, there will be a mass outbreak, and we could see a devastating, widespread infection of the population and carnage to that. The death rate, I think, would be just too high. I don't think the hospital, the healthcare system over here would be able to manage with it, deal with it. So it's just a consideration for those of you who doubt this system that is in place right now. All right, I will see you in another video. Please like, comment, and subscribe, and I will see you next time.